Please double check your assignments, make sure that you have gotten credit for what you turned in. Like I said before, I've got some with no name back there and I'm pitching them. On Thursday, those are getting pitched. So if you need to lay claim to one, please do. All right, we're on practice test 2, and actually it starts the same way the practice test 1 started, with a page of graphs. So we will have a page of graphs, and this time our base graph that we're starting with looks like this. All right, so who can tell me what's going to happen with this? No, that one doesn't go upside down. That one is going to be a sideways flip. I'm going to write that down here to remind myself. Sideways flip, which means simply that the circle's going to be on this side and the trapezoid's going to be on this side. Right? Now, what else is going to happen? It's actually not multiplied, it's actually divides the width. So when you have that multiplying number, that 2, right on the x, that divides the width. Okay? So basically what we're saying is, the circle is going to move over here to this side, and instead of being 4 blocks wide, it's going to be 2 blocks wide. So it was 4, right? It flip-flops over to this side, and it's only 2 wide. Now, what about the trapezoid? Well, he was also 4 blocks wide. So he's flipping over to this side, and now he is going to be just 2 blocks wide. Okay. Flip, smush. All right, how about this? Okay, so that's bottoms up.
Up 1.
And then up 1. All right, so I can't, all that up and down stuff, I can't do it, so I'm gonna go ahead and do bottoms up. Now, bottoms up means this side isn't changing, because it's already up. But my circle is going to go up. Now, is that okay with everybody for bottoms up only? Now, on your graph paper, you're just going to take every one of these points I plotted, and take every one of them and move them up 1. So the blue thing is the answer to the question. Everybody okay? All right, what about this next one? Well, see that number right there? He's in exactly the same spot as this one is. So what did we say a number in that spot does? Divides the width. So this number is going to divide the width. Now, There's no negatives, we're not flipping, we're not moving, it's just gonna divide the width. Now, let's look at this semicircle. How wide is that semicircle? How many blocks wide is it?
4.
4. So we're gonna take that 4 and we're gonna divide it by a half. Well, what happens when you divide by a half? You really end up multiplying by 2. So what does that mean? Our circle used to be 4 across, now it's gonna be 8 across. Oops, sorry, it's not up, it's down, sorry. Don't do that, it's down here. It didn't flip. I gotta go back to my original picture. It's below. See that trapezoid right there? How wide is he? 4. So same thing, 4 divided by a half. So now he is also 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And there he is. Still too tall, the trapezoid is still too tall, but now he is 8 across. Alrighty. Next. What's happening in this one? What?
Left 3.
Actually, this one
Right
is going
3.
to go right 3. And then what else happens?
Twice the height.
Twice the height. So we're going to multiply the height. All right, so we're going to multiply the height. I think I'm going to start by moving it right 3. Oh shoot, I erased my original. Oh well, you've got it there. All right, so I'm going to go right 3. So my original looked like this. All right, so right 3. My semicircle is going to start here then. So there's that one right 3. And then there's my trapezoid. That makes sense to everybody? On your graph paper, it's easier. You take each point and move it over 3. Now I've got to make it twice as tall. Now, how tall is the trapezoid to start with? 2. So now he's going to be 4 tall. Now notice, that doesn't mean move it up. That means stretch it up. So these 2 points, actually these 3 points are all going to stay right where they are. And the figure is just going to get taller. And likewise, deeper. So the blue thing is the answer to the question. Moved everything left 3, and then made it twice as tall as it was originally. This does not mean add 2, this means times 2. So the height, 2 times 2 is 4, 2 times 1 is 2. And the last one, what is happening here? Mirror, so this means mirror the right. Onto the left. All right, and what else is happening?
Flip.
Okay, flip how? Upside down, upside down,
And then twice the height.
and twice the height. Oh my gosh, there's a lot going on. So let's start with the whole mirroring thing. Now, the mirroring thing means take your original picture and whatever is on the right, just redraw it. So there it is. Whatever's on the right side, you're redrawing it. Then, draw that exact same thing on the left side. That takes care of this right here. Now, what else did we say we had to do? We had to turn it upside down and make it twice as tall. So how tall are these semicircles right now? One. So they're going to be upside down and too tall. So upside down and too tall. Would everybody agree that the blue is the answer to the question? Feel free to use colored pencils if that helps you. Okay? All right, next page. This is our page of word problems now. Here we go. We've done all these before. We can do these. First one is a box problem, and the paper is 10 by 16. You're cutting out corners that are X big, and you're making a box. First question that's asked is, write an equation for the volume of the box. So what does that equation look like? 16 minus 2x. 10 minus 2x. And then x. Don't forget that x on the end. Length, width, height. Gotta have three things. Length, width, height. Done. That's the answer to A. That's your equation for the volume. Don't do anything else to it. That's it. Period. Now, what's the domain?
0.
The domain is 0 to 5. It's always 0 for the minimum, right? This is x min right here. How did you get 5? Half of the smaller number, and 10 is the smaller number, so that makes 5. Okay, now we're all getting our calculators out. Everybody's getting a calculator out. Everybody is typing in, going to window, starting with window, and typing x min as 0 and x max as 5. Remember, we're only changing x min, x max, y min, y max. Don't worry about the rest of it. So here, right here in your domain is your x min, x max. What do you do with y min? 0. And then y max, I don't know, mine right now is set at 200 from some other problem I did. I'm just going to leave it at 200. And what's going to happen? It's either going to be big enough or not, right? So I can fix it if it's not. Then go to y equals, type in this equation, parentheses and all.
16 minus 2x.
And hit graph. Oh, I think 200 was big enough. Did anybody use a number other than 200 for y max? Was 100 big enough? 100 was big enough? wasn't?
I might have been in the wrong part.
Yeah, you need to make sure you type in the new equation. Yeah, 100's not big enough, but 200 is.
Yeah, 200.
When we talk about being big enough, what do we mean? Can we see the top of the hill, right? All right, so then what do we do next? Second, calc, choose maximum. Set your cursor on the left side of the mountain. Enter on the right side of the mountain. Enter, and in the middle. Did you get 2,144? Now it wasn't exactly 2, but it was 1.99999. So I'm just gonna make that 2,144. Okay?
How do you,
That's like x equals.
I don't know either.
What is the end?
I don't know why you have a 7,000.
How did she get it? I got.
What she get?
She got two. What's your Y? Oh, okay. 2 for, okay. That's what she got.
What happened? She got it.
What happened?
You was just back there. You was just back there.
Somehow it's shading something. But I think we decided what we need to do. Set
And
count
that's what you can do
maximum.
it.
Yep.
So left
I can still do
down.
what you need to do.
I'm trying to find the really top.
All right, now we need to answer the question. Do not put both of these in the answer blank. One number answers the question, and the question is, find the maximum volume of the box. So which of these two numbers is our answer?
144.
144 cubic inches is the maximum volume of the box. What does the 2 stand for?
The answer is 144.
What does the 2 mean?
the square.
The size of the squares. You guys, this is an ordered pair, x comma y. Weren't the squares x by x? So if you want to make the biggest box you can, you would cut out squares that are 2 inches big. And that would make a box with a volume of 144. Okay? Where's your calculator? Okay. Did you type it in? Good job. Where's your calculator? Did you type it in? Where's your calculator?
I don't remember.
Did you type it in? Huh? Okay, fine, you typed it in. You got everything? All right. So, all right, next problem. Find the final costs of your meal, going to the restaurant. We're gonna pay $16.55 for food. But we're gonna make a couple of adjustments to that. We have to pay tax, so that's +7, and we have to leave a tip, so that's +20. These are both pluses. So the numbers that I multiply by will be 1 plus 0.07 and 1 plus 0.20. Would everybody agree with that, since these are add-ons, 1 plus? So I'm gonna take 1655 multiply it by 1.07 and 1.20. And that will tell me how much I have to pay altogether. Did you get $21.25? Now, sometimes when you do these problems, we're buying something that's on sale, so that would be a discount, and if it's a discount, it's not 1 plus, it's 1 minus, right? Otherwise, they're all exactly the same. All right, number 4. What's our strategy for number 4? Amount times percent, right, I'm gonna actually write that down to help myself stay organized. Amount times percent plus amount times percent equals amount times percent. And then what's the good news here? All this stuff is in the problem almost everything's in the problem. So let's get our percentages. We got 28%, so I'm putting my percentages in. So 28%, 10%.
Hold on.
You all right? I don't know who it was. And 22%? All that? Take your okay? Now what else can I fill in? Well, I know I'm looking for how much, 28%, so we're kind of in the habit of putting X here. How much? And they tell me I have 20 cups of the 10%, so the amount of the 10% is 20. And then what's gonna go in that end one there? 20 plus X or X plus 20, right? That's what goes there, because you're adding them together. So then you just solve the equation that we have. Oh, I better do that. Ooh, I'm gonna get a nice even number. Did you get, what's cups, not ounces, did you get 40?
Yep.
Be careful, sometimes we make mistakes. When we subtract the 0.22, remember that that's 0.06, not 6. 0.06. Anybody have a question about that one? Good? All right, and then last year, tuition in local school was $11,800. This year it's 12.2. Find the percent of increase. What do we do? Difference over original. Difference over original. So difference is 400. Original is 11.8. I know it's exciting stuff, but I got, now decimally, this is what came out on my calculator. So I'm gonna round that off and say that is about 3.39%. I moved that 2 places. Would you say about 3.39%? Now I noticed in your homework, a few of you have turned that in, that some of you were taking this decimal and putting a percent sign at the end of it. No, no, no. This is the decimal. If you wanna make it a percent, which you do, that's the question, you gotta move it 2 places. Alright? Well, that takes care of the word problems, now we have everything else. Alright, so here we go, number 6. Look at that picture. Is it a function? Are you 6, sweetheart? Okay, put yourself up, keep your head up, please. Put it up on your desk, keep your head. You too, Kendrick, please sit up. Right? You're invested in this. All this review is for you. Alright, so here's this original picture that's drawn up here. Somebody in this room, everybody in this room, better be able to tell me if this is a function or not. Yes. So yes isn't enough. You have to be able to tell why. So, is it a function?
No.
Yes. Why? Passes vertical line test. Perfect. Is its inverse a function? No. Why? Fails horizontal line test. Perfect. Is it 1-to-1? No. Doesn't pass both tests. These are test questions, right? So you can act as bored as you want, but kids, you gotta be able to produce this on the test. All right, now we have to sketch the inverse. Now, this is the one, this is not the flipping, moving, all that, no. When you sketch the inverse, you take the ordered pair of the original, which that ordered pair is -2, 0, and you graph 0, -2. This ordered pair is -1, 2, so I graph 2, -1, and 0, 0. This one is 1, 1, so I actually graph that same point. This one is 2, 0, so I graph 0, 2. This one is 3, -1, and 4, -1, and 5, 0. So -1, 3, -1, 4, and 0, 5. That is not hard, but you have to remember what you're supposed to do. When you graph the inverse, you take the ordered pairs and flip-flop them. Okay? All right, now we're finding the inverse. So this is our quiz question we took, this quiz. Your job is to find the inverse, and the answer blank will literally say F inverse equals. That's what the answer blank will look like. So, how do we find what goes in there? Okay, so this, remember, is the same as y. So x equals 3y minus 8 over 2y plus 1. Multiply the bottom over to here. And then, be careful what I do. Distribute. Now I gotta distribute. So 2xy plus x equals 3y minus 8. Okay, so far, I've switched my variables, move my denominator over, and distribute it. Okay?
Now switch.
Now I switch these two, right? So 2xy minus 3y minus x minus 8. Then what? Factor out the y, take out the y. So if you take out the y, you have 2x minus 3 left. I took out the y's. And then last step, divide by the parentheses. So in the answer blank, goes negative x minus 8 over 2x minus 3. That's on the test. So is one like this, which is the same problem, only easier. What's the first thing I do here? Switch the variables. Good. We always start with that. Switch the variables. Now, when I bring my denominator over, I don't need to distribute. I just bring it over, right? And then add 3. And divide. So again, the answer blank will just look like this. And you will put 4x plus 3 over 8 in the answer blank. Okay, who remembers how we did this one yesterday?
I do remember.
We just plugged in a random number. So we just pick a favorite number. What's your soccer number, Caleb? 11. So let's plug in 11. So if we plug 11 into the f function, into the first one, doesn't really matter, I put in the first one. We'll have 2 times 11 plus 3, which is what, 25? Then what? Take the 25 and plug it into the other function. So g of 25 is 25 minus 3 over 2, which is 22 over 2, which is 11. Are they inverses?
Yeah.
Yes. Why? Because I got back the number I started with, right? So it says, are these inverses? Yes. Why? Because I ended up with the same number I started with. Now you could say that in your own words, but that's the idea, right? I ended up with the 11 that I started with. Would it have worked if we used somebody else's number?
Yes.
Yeah, that number doesn't matter. Pick whatever number you want. And just make sure you end up with it when you're done. Okay? All right, what's next? Oh, this is the super simple one. This says, find the ordered pair. We know t is -2, and we know x is 2t plus 1, and y is t squared. All right, so what's the ordered pair? What's x? If t is -2, just plug it in. What's x gonna be? -3. 2 times -2 plus 1. What's t squared?
4.
4. Now, those of you that do everything on your calculator, be very careful, because if you just type -2 squared, it's gonna say -4. It's -2 squared. -2 times -2, perfect. All right, number 10. What does number 10 mean? Does anybody remember what I said the translation is for number 10? I heard somebody say it. You're eliminate. You eliminate. Oh, by the way, Reese sent me a text yesterday. It was so good to hear from her. She just wanted to say hi. Believe it or not, there are some people who actually liked math class. All right, find a direct algebraic relationship between x and y. We're going to eliminate t. Okay? Now, let me get them lined up first of all. So x equals 4 minus 2t, and y equals 0 plus 1/2 t. Now they're lined up. Now they don't eliminate right now because these numbers don't match. So what could I multiply by that would eliminate the t's? Gio?
4.
If I multiplied the bottom row by 4, I don't need to multiply the top row by anything. Because what happens when we multiply 4 times 1/2? What's 4 over 1 times 1 over 2? Doesn't that give you 2? So x plus 4y equals 4. Take 4 times y, 4 times 0, 4 times 1/2. That'll make these cancel, which is the goal, and there's the answer to the question. Okay? All right, last one. Look at these two shapes. And figure out what happened. Let's just make a list of the changes there. What do you notice about them?
Stretch.
So I think it's stretched. So can you tell how much bigger they are than they were? Are they twice as tall?
Yeah.
All right, so we made it twice as tall. So the word stretch is fine. You use that word if you want. It's twice as tall. All right, what else happened?
Upside down.
Upside down. And then what else happened? Down two. Oh my gosh, we have a lot going on in this problem. So you're gonna write an equation. It's gonna have an F over here in parentheses. So how do I make these things happen? How do I make it twice as tall? Put a 2 out in front, that makes it twice as tall. How do I turn it upside down? The 2 has to be negative. Remember, a negative in here is a sideways. How do I make it go down 2? Outside the parentheses is a -2, and that's the answer. That's a tough question. But if you know your rules, you ought to be able to put something like that together. Okay? All right, now I want to give back your last tests. We haven't gone over those yet. So I'll get those back to you. And then